Yes, guys, we are finally back. We finally made it to the second reaction video I've dropped on this YouTube platform. Welcome to this Brbptv. Be real, be positive television, brothers and sisters. Do I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning into these vibrations. Don't forget to check out the previous one I did on the Mr. Licks reaction, guys. Jason Grog has been denied, I think. Is denied, blocked, whatever the indication right there, brothers and sisters. You can definitely check that link in the first comment in the comment box below, guys. Of course, he's not going to be giving up the fight, brothers and sisters. What is next on his agenda? Definitely check out the latest vibrations on the Mr. Licks reaction, guys. And of course, welcome to this Brbptv, brothers and sisters. Don't forget to click the like button. I would appreciate that. And of course, subscribe. Turn on that post notifications so you can get you can pretty much get the latest vibrations when they tend to come. I don't know why I said that for, but anyways, you get the latest vibrations when they tend to come through, guys. And of course, helping this channel to grow when you subscribe to this channel in that regard right there. Anyways, brothers and sisters, without further ado, let us get into the vibrations for today. For of course, we see an upside down vehicle. Why? I guess the vehicle was too legit for the road, brothers and sisters. But it may have been that the vehicle slid off the road as a result of the wet road that you see. And of course, this is told to be that this is in Granby, around the Granby region right there, brothers and sisters. When you have small roads like that, you have to take your time, eh? And sometimes things are hard in the economy and you might not want to be changing your tires as regularly as you should. Or, you know, probably these tires have been on that vehicle for 2 years, I don't know, or something of that sort. But another thing I have to tell individuals about tires, it seems like a number of persons don't know this, but there's the year on the tire, okay, brothers and sisters? If you would like, and I always tend to feed you guys information, but go and do research, brothers and sisters, and make sure that when they're giving you tires, it is less than 10 years old, okay? Because the older the tires, the easier they are for them to wear out. And you are pretty much paying the same price for the 10 plus year tire versus the recent tires. They are pretty much the same price, brothers and sisters, because they are brand new, both brand new. One that has not been used, both of them have not been used, so they're brand new, brothers and sisters. But it's just that sometimes when they're selling tires, they don't get sold. And as time goes by, these tires, you know. So it is important, brothers and sisters, that you check the year of the tire. Go and Google to find out how you can find the year on your tire. Then go and check your tire outside, brothers and sisters, to ensure that next time you buy tires, you make sure that your tires is at least within there's a 10-year mark, but don't go there. Make sure it is less than 2 to 3 years, brothers and sisters, so you can really utilize the tire to its fullest capacity. Because the years upon years upon years, even though it's new and it's not used, the material with the air, brothers and sisters, the air also affects the longevity of the tire when it has been there for a long time. So I figured I might just put this there. I'm not saying that the tires will smooth or whatever it could be, but you know, I'm just saying that that's something that individuals might want to look into right there. Okay, but this is pretty much what Dominica is like, brothers and sisters, at this present time. Now, talking about hard times, brothers and sisters, we saw that this thing is taking place in Portsmouth. Took place in Portsmouth, I was told. Seems like some individuals might be looking for their CXC grade to take it up because they do bad in school. I don't know, brothers and sisters. I just say what I want. But it seems like individuals have been saying that this was in Portsmouth. Somehow individuals searching to see if they can find monies or something of that sort. Brothers and sisters, I know things are hard, but go and do some construction or something now. Go online. There are a number of jobs online that you can go and search for. Don't come and ask me. Go online and do your research to find out where you can fit in. Some people, you can do scribes. You can do scribes and get paid a lot of money to write, to listen and write down whatever you think. You can even use technology, but let me leave that before you can start doing, you can make a set of money on me and you don't even give me a dime. Shame. But brothers and sisters, yeah, you can do scribing and this kind of things there online and get paid quite a number of dollars for that. People get paid a lot of money for that. Other friend I was getting paid. She wasn't getting paid per thing. She was getting paid per scribe that she wrote, and she was getting paid like $50 per scribe. You know, probably listening for 30 minutes or whatever, and getting paid 50 US, and you know it varies in that regard. But you can go out there and find out how you can do stuff online, or just leave the country, brothers and sisters. Why you going and go and ramsack people thing? And then I was going to say, well, they face on camera, but sometimes even though you're face on camera, nobody really seeing, you know. So they're trying to look for whatever you're looking for. And thing. Stop robbing people, brothers and sisters. Be that is actually what is happening there. Of course, this was sent to me a number of times. Mr. Leaks, look what's happening. So, brothers and sisters, if you cannot make it in Dominica, leave. There's ample opportunities out there. Ample opportunity. You don't have to go far. You can go St. Lucia. You can go Barbados. Barbados already opened their doors for people to come. Free movement. Come. Do something in the place. Organize yourself. You know, do something, man. But hey, it's up to y'all, man. It's up to y'all. Anyways, we are on the real issues right there, brothers and sisters. Cursed man. Cursed his country. Who is that man, brothers and sisters? A sad, pathetic man who squandered Dominica's money still thinks he is relevant. Why do people make these kind of things right there? He still thinks he's relevant. Well, aren't the people the one making him relevant? On the basis that he's the prime minister of the country? And then he thinks that he has the power to do this, brothers and sisters. Take a listen to this one right there. This shocked me. The first time I hear that, it shocked me. So just take a listen. I'll come back to reacting to it.
And so on the electoral reform, anybody can go on the website, read, and you have comments, send to me directly, or to the general, and we will take note of those comments and so on. But to go and sit down in a room and a hall and parish hall and state house and Portsmouth, and we had enough of that. We had enough of that. We have other things too. We have other fishes to fry. But that one is in the hot oil already, so we have to move on to it.
Yo. Oh boy. So there have been a few comments in that regard, brothers and sisters. A few persons have made some statements. This individual is saying, send to me personally. He's saying, how the Prime Minister can say, send to me personally? Man, you are a big stone which is placing yourself in the road. Rude with your foreign-born children. While you Prime Minister, your hate for Dominicans shall and will end. Well, it's not like the people don't know. It's one thing if the people did not know that, you know, there's a possibility that he actually does not like Dominica at all. Even though, you know, there's evidence to prove this kind of sentiment when he's saying, boy, why didn't they build factories with all the billions of dollars that they made to do things? Instead, they buy homes for people, not making any surplus at all. Create jobs so that people can actually build their homes. No, you don't want to make them independent. You want to make them dependent on you. And then you're giving them mediocre salaries. Interesting stuff. How can the Prime Minister say, send to me personally? The very Prime Minister who's apparently utilizing. Remember? Where is it? Where is what I'm looking for, brothers and sisters? This thing right there. Remember when a certain individual made a statement? Please do not drift too far. Tried calling you again today and just cannot get through. I spoke to Kondwan, this individual, this morning. There is madness going on at the commission. You need to call in this individual and this individual. I leave today. This individual is saying these guys are talking about reforms to include ID cards and complete re-registration. Such reforms shall do what? Undermine your re-election legacy, as the opposition will say, look, the commission agreed with us. Reform was required because of widespread fraud. You know what's saying this, brothers and sisters, based off this letter? Now, I saw a video of Skerrit and that individual, Anthony Astafans, and a number of individuals talking about the very reform themselves. And they were happy that they were bringing reform, brothers and sisters. And it's interesting to find out what exactly that reform is about. Those Skerrit come in and say he don't want to do meetings on the very thing that most likely would cause him to lose election if election had a free and fair playing field. the one that is in charge of running the free and fair playing field, is telling the people that he doesn't have time for this to go out there. He just wants to do the draft. Go and read it and then come and tell him. How they telling you? They calling your phone number, they emailing you. Huh? How on earth the Prime Minister is the one handling this? How on earth is this? How is that even possible? The Prime Minister is one handling electoral reform on the basis that he is using the very reform to make sure that he has a re-election legacy. He is handling it, telling people this.
Anybody can go on the website, read, and you have comments, send to me directly.
Send to you directly? Boy, I don't know. Something is wrong with human beings in a brothers and sisters. I think Lenox also had a indication on that, brothers and sisters. I think he did. If I get it, brothers and sisters, I will put it out there. But it's very interesting, right there. Let me read the comments in that regard. That narcissist think Dominica is his own. Apparently. But who you think give it to him? Not the people. So he might be a narcissist and think Dominica is his own because the people allowed it, brothers and sisters. In a country that is striving and progressing, the people doesn't allow anything to happen to them, no? Doesn't anything. Look, the other day, the European government trying to take away farmers, the abilities for them to plant organic. And the farmers say, what? Who you talking to? Me? So the farmers unified and start doing chaos in the place to the point where the government had to rescind their stuff about pushing nonsense in the place. Furthermore, brothers and sisters, I see a number of you guys enjoying KFC. You realize it tasting KFC change, right? No, you don't realize that? No? Okay, continue eating fake chicken. Lab-grown chicken. You know behind that? His name started with B and his last name started with G. Continue still. I kept this individual said I kept asking, why would Roosevelt Skerrit allow reform? Why? That doesn't make any sense. To stop his re-election legacy, Skerrit is in charge of reform with the commissioner. You think they're going to do things that will actually stop them from winning elections? To the point where they come in and say that they don't want to have no sort of meeting. Go and read, then email him or message him directly. Ask you how you're messaging him directly. First of all, why is he you have to message in the first place? Why? Why is him? He should be off it 100%. He should have no dealings with it at all. He should give his views and what have you, and put things that will actually be in place for re-election, actual election reform. You don't come in and say, oh, message you and you will put it. What? Boy, what is that for me, boy? The Prime Minister of a country handling electoral reform. Well, at least he stopped saying electoral modernization, so that's good. But because that was, But electoral reform is being handled by the Prime Minister, the very Prime Minister that has used these very election policies and all rules and all those kind of things there. And the justice system for him to escape. And boy, that is something else. Why would Roosevelt Skerrit allow reforms that would prevent him from stealing elections? Why would he? I don't understand humans. And these things is going to be happening to you, and all you standing up quiet, waiting for somebody else. Gassar, yeah. Why would Roosevelt Skerrit allow reform that would prevent him from stealing elections? This individual is asking. This means that true electoral reform would never come as long as Roosevelt Skerrit is engaged in the process in any way, including paying someone as a distraction to buy time and distract the resistance. Was the Byron fella a distraction? I remember the Byron fella said he sent this stuff a whole month before Skerrit called elections. Skerrit then said he did not see the report. all you, something is wrong with you, man's boy. Why would Roosevelt Skerrit allow reform? Why would he be the caretaker where he will have to say, oh, read thing and then message him
On
directly?
electoral reform, anybody can go on the website, read, and you have comments, send to me directly.
Comments. You can send him comments. You think he can take your comments into consideration? Huh? His re-election legacy going to take your comments? We need voter ID cards. You think he's going to take your comment? You already say you don't want to put voter ID card. He that said that we. Voter ID cards will create a free and fair election basis. At least limit the corruption that takes place in elections. Limit it. Or lessen it. The man say he don't want to put voter ID cards, even though it's necessary for free and fair elections. Are you serious? Then not just that, no. He say he's sending comments.
Or to the Attorney General.
Or to the Attorney General. The Attorney General is not on his side now. Not on his side, the Attorney General is.
And we will take note of those comments and so on.
And we will take notes. What the Attorney General and the Prime Minister doing in charge of electoral reform? What? They will take notes, we? No, man. Dominicans are only joking. And then the same liberal rights want to leave the very country that they caused to happen. That boy.
To go and sit down in a room in a hall and parish hall and state.
To discuss, how we can create free and fair elections. You say, you don't have to be there now. Is it not the commission and the individuals involved in electoral reform that's supposed to be doing these things? Huh? What the Prime Minister doing there?
House and Portsmouth and so we had enough of that. We have other things.
The man say we have enough of that. So they join the draft, not for you to review and say, no, we don't want this, we want this, we don't want this, we want this. No, you join the draft, come and send your comments for him not to receive the message, like he did not receive the message from Byron a whole month after. But that is something else, we. That is, boy, I don't know if all you, boy. Boy.
Things too. We have all the fishes to fry.
For the fishes to fry like what? Huh? It's not like only doing something for the economy. Which other fishes is that? Huh? DLP doing anything for the economy, brothers and sisters? Correct me if I'm wrong, Correct me if I'm wrong. Because I trying to figure out what they're doing for the economy. I know they're doing for themselves. They increase their salaries. They flying all over the place. He himself admit, all you always there. He's talking about the PAL reps. All you always there to fly overseas. But when the citizens come and look for all you never there. And the citizens go back and vote for them. They go and bring music and all sorts of things. They're treating the people nice, man. When the band and the partners come and say, hey, we don't have to buy nothing. You're getting everything free. Election time. He come from overseas, for him to get food free. As if they have free food in America. That is something or ever he come out. And that is what Dominicans are allowing for themselves. When the Prime Minister come in and tell you, electoral reform, if you have issues, what comments, message me directly.
That one is in the hot oil already, so we have to move on to it.
Brothers and sisters, the day Skerrit them past their electoral reform, that is it for Dominica. You know that, right? The day Skerrit them past their electoral reform. I'll do a reaction on Lenox. Lenox had when I get that video, I'll do a reaction on it, brothers and sisters. Let me see if I can find it, brothers. But let's look at the comments right there. The narcissist thing, Dominica, is his own. Yes, why would he allow that? Is either Mr. is a mad fella or he knows Dominicans too well. I think he knows Dominicans too well. They are timid. Oh, you guys are resilient. Yeah, resilient to take blows from the very people that holding the whip. All you resilient, man. What? Let me see if I can give all you more blows. Put more prices on. All your salaries not going up. We increasing salaries all over the place. So all you can handle it, man. He say, remember when Skerrit say Dominicans can handle it? He believe Dominicans, his exact words. Yeah, man, I believe Dominicans can handle it, man. So he giving all you more blows. Instead of giving all you 30 lashes, he giving all you 50 lashes. All you can handle it, man. And the Dominicans will just come and they clapping. Forward we go. Forward we go. And they talking about progress in that same song. And when you ask yourself what progress is there in Dominica, the question was asked, what sustainable project has been developed by the government of Dominica for the people in the past 25 years? Nobody answer me up to now. Not one project, nothing. Not one sustainable development project that has aided the people, brothers and sisters. Instead, for the past 25 years, we had a number of businesses closing down to the point where even one businessman may have alleged to take his own life because of the pressures of Dominica. Ross University left us. 40% GDP left Dominica, and we are hearing that this very man is alleged that he's one of the top landlord owners. And then he come in and had meeting in Picard, in Portsmouth, telling the Picard landlords, hey, we try to keep the housing for you guys. Are you serious? Are you? Election he wants to call soon. Well, I figure that's a possibility. You know, when things not going the best way possible, and the OAS say, okay, we need electoral reform, so you're trying to put your electoral reform forward, you would have the majority. This is why most likely he wants to go to Parliament to do this so that they can approve it. And when they approve it in Parliament, boom, you know, it's over. It's over, brothers and sisters. It's over. I hope all you have yes, sir. Let me see if I can get the voice note of Lenox, guys. Keep it low. Hold on. Okay, guys. I finally got it right there. Let's take a listen. This one is a bit long. So let me see if I can fast pace it a little bit to make it go a little quicker. But let's just listen, guys.
What we are looking at in terms of these three pieces of legislation that are proposed to go before Parliament for passage to bring on board the electoral reforms that we have been talking about for a number of years. What we have before us is actually worse than what we discussed in consultation following the recommendations of Sir Dennis Byron.
It is actually worse, brothers and sisters. It's
that consultancy from a couple of years ago. Worse because it now presents us with having to deal with an electoral process that is entitling overseas voters who are not ordinarily resident in Dominica and whose human rights to live, to work, and to enjoy life are under the jurisdiction of another government to distort or to cause harm to the wishes of the resident population of Dominica.
You know, like I always say, America tends to look at the Caribbean. Hopefully everybody's okay. But I always say America tends to look at the Caribbean to see how they can shift things. But right now, America is pretty much allowing millions of illegal people to come inside. Millions upon millions of people are coming inside the United States. Why? Why? Well, if you can look at the elections of Dominica, brothers and sisters, when you're seeing all these chartered planes coming into Dominica, oh, and it's nothing out of the ordinary, brother. Nothing out of the ordinary, they'll tell you. Millions of people going up there, brothers and sisters. This is why I said Democrats and labor rights. Democrats in the United States and labor rights in Dominica are pretty much the exact same thing. The exact same thing, brothers and sisters. Because what is happening, they're bringing them up. And look, they're talking about the same sentiment right there.
Of Dominica. That was clearly not the intention of the Constitution that confers the right to vote for representation in the Parliament and the right to participate in government of the people, by the people, for the people. The Constitution clearly sets out residence as a criteria for being able to choose representation in the government. So you have to be resident in a particular polling district in a certain constituency in Dominica for you to be on the register of voters and for you to be able to vote. The bills before us are moving completely away from that to a policy position by this government now that once you have registered to vote, your name shall remain on the register of voters and you will vote forever and ever, amen, regardless of where you live, regardless of whether you're in Dominica or not.
That pretty much pushes the will of the people away from them, the people who reside in the country. It pushes the will of the people away so that for example, let's say about 50% of, let's say about 40% of Dominicans want change, right? 40%. 20% want the government, or let's say 30% want the government to come back into power, right? The rest do not want to vote, they don't care. The rest 30% don't care at all, they're not going to vote. What the government can do is just bring in another additional 20% to it, of people to tilt the scale to go against the will of the majority of people in the country. That's all they can do. Haven't they done this before? When they have in their own electoral reform, not electoral reform, then they have in their own electoral, what do you call that again? Surveys and these kind of things there. And they bring in people and putting people in the right positions so they can tilt the scale to ensure that they maintain the election legacy. Isn't that the case? Let's continue.
Be able to vote in elections in Dominica. And that is a fundamental departure from the principle of representation on which the right to vote is based.
It should be on the right of the people within the country to vote. Like I said before, I don't mind the overseas people going to vote, brothers and sisters. Give them their own constituency, the overseas people. Put them into constituencies in the United States or wherever, so that they can go online and vote. The majority of the people would not be reflected, because if you have 21 constituencies and you have 2 overseas, that is 23 constituencies. The 20 people living overseas would not affect it because they're only voting in 2 positions. The 21 will have the majority over the 2. The 21 of the people, 21 constituencies that pretty much deal with the residents and live in the country. Would make sense if you say let's include everybody. I don't think you should include anybody, but if that is a problem, that is a solution right there. Give the people outside of Dominica, even if you live in Martinique or wherever, go online and vote in your constituency of choice. If you register there, that is. So, I think that would be a solution, but apparently they say, no, let everybody come in and vote.
The Prime Minister, some time ago, pointed to the folly of having a Dominica citizen, somebody born in Dominica, living in New York, and asking the PAL rep in Dominica for representation when the road in Manhattan has potholes and needs to be fixed.
You must see your PAL rep. Your person want to visit you. You have a drain behind the house that causing problems. Your road needs fixing. We have to wet the road in Cynical because there's so much dust when it's dry. So you have a voter in New York, and he'll call and tell you that there are a lot of potholes on the streets of Manhattan, and you need to fix it for him.
What are you saying? What are you saying there?
This is too serious a matter for us to trivialize.
Yeah, so the people of that living overseas that are resident overseas should not vote in Dominica. Well, if you're saying the people come, they have to come and spend a good 120 days in Dominica. 120 days is what? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 120, so 20 days. No, man. Spend a good 30 days in Dominica. Spend a month, man. You can't spend a month in Dominica every year. That would add up to what? 30, 60, 90, 30 times 5. 150. If you cannot spend 150 days in Dominica for 5 years, you shouldn't vote. Simple.
Lies. The discussions.
He internally and truthfully grasped the value of representation to this whole process and what residence means in all of this right to vote for representation in the parliament. He also tells you that where you make your money is where you live, is where you're domiciled.
Because if you spend more time in a country, you're a resident in a country, It's something because where you earning your money, that's where you're a resident, Because if you spend more time in a country, you're a resident in a country, It's something because where you earning your money, that's where you're a resident,
But that don't make sense, because what about the individuals that are working online? We might be staying in St. Lucia, but working online. Where you're working has nothing to do with where you're located there. But on the basis of elections, yeah, that would make sense. No?
Who has masterminded this set of proposals now to go before Parliament to take the residency criteria to vote out of the equation of the electoral process in Dominica. And
because they know that's where they get in their winnings from. This is why you see a set of chartered planes coming down Dominica every time it have elections. Or man coming through boat. Not true.
And when you look at the way in which the electoral process has been manipulated over the years, with all of the millions and millions of dollars from the sale of Dominican passports that are used to bring in Dominicans resident overseas to vote in marginal constituencies and to affect the results in those marginal constituencies in favor of the ruling party. When you look at the absence of campaign finance regulations, even those proposed by Sir Dennis Byron, totally ignored. So that big money, we're never sure where it comes from, but we know all of it comes from the sale of our passports. So that big money can have an influence and be the deciding factor in elections in Dominica. When we see no campaign finance regulations, you know very well now that what we are looking at is not reform.
Nope.
We're looking at further deformity of the electoral process away from the ability to deliver free in Dominica.
So in other words, instead of having a proper form, brothers and sisters, we have a loosening of what is actually there, making it even far worse. Because when you have proper form, you're able to do things properly. But when you don't have the proper form, brothers and sisters, lackadaisical kind of vibes that is taking place, that is exactly what Skerrit wants to do. Make it more for them. This is why they're the ones who apparently seem to be in charge of electoral reform. And they are the ruling government.
Elections in Dominica have not been fair for a long time. In
Yep,
2014, the Commonwealth Observer Mission told us that the elections were free but not necessarily fair because of numerous instances of bribery and cheating and abuses of incumbency that they witnessed, they saw. We know what the CCJ told us in 2022 in July, that we ought not to go into another election without removing the taints on the electoral process.
And in December of that same year, they had elections. So what is the point of having the CCJ if people can break their ruling? Huh? What is the point of
electoral process? Bribery and cheating are taints on the process. The movement away from the residency criteria to vote in Dominica, established by the Constitution, is another taint on the process. We had a whole set of irregularities and illegalities that have affected the process in terms of the integrity of the list.
Yep.
Then when we look at something like bribery, where we asked in consultation and through advocacy for a clarification of the provision on bribery in the...
They should define that as well. What is bribery? Because apparently they want to say, oh, we didn't do bribery. We're helping people out. What?
That would bring on board the learning from Halsbury's Laws of England that says the provision of transportation expenses for a voter on the condition expressed or implied that that particular voter would vote for a particular candidate or party is bribery. We wanted that clarification inserted into the legislation so that we are clear what we're talking about with one of the major taints on the electoral process in Dominica. Absolutely nothing was done with that. We look at the situation regarding ID cards and the fact that the provisions that we have advocated for in terms of what is to be included on the ID cards, security features and so on, those have not been included in the law. They have not been statutorized, so to speak. And it is left to the discretion of the chief registering officer, the chief election officer, what is to go on the ID card in terms of security features and so on. That we have recommended should be a provision of the law. So when you look at everything together in terms of what is presented to us, we have the Labour Party doubling down on its formula for corruptly rigging elections and seeking to normalize that now through the legislation that is going before the Parliament. We are at a very dangerous stage, which requires now not merely voices like yours and mine, Sheridan, and those of Dr. Andre and Dr. Fontaine and the other patriots of this land who speak out at great sacrifice, but the will of the people of Dominica to secure their right to elect government.
They're saying they don't want to do it. We don't have time. That's what Skerrit saying, We don't have time. That is done past. We don't have time to be going around. That's what he say, So that way what the people have to say, because it's my country, it's me that run things. And Dominicans will hear that. And they'll be like, oh, all you going to do something about it now? What about all you other guys do now? Okay, well, I don't do nothing about it now. That's Dominicans, we.
Government of the people, by the people, for the people. Government by the majority vote of the people, and not from the dollar bills of corrupt politicians, not from the machinations that distort and deform the process so that they can get away with rigging elections on an ongoing basis. Now, going forward, the people of Dominica are going to have to decide whether this democracy belongs to one man and his team in government, or whether it belongs to them. And
that is a good question right there. They have to decide. Do Dominicans decide it belongs to us or it belongs to them?
Whether they're going to insist that we have an electoral process that gives a fair chance to all, so that we can have the legitimacy of government that is the result of the majority votes of the people of Dominica, the majority votes of conscience of the people of Dominica. We don't have that in what is presented before us. And as Dr. Andre says, we're at the point now where we have to decide how badly do we want this and how much we are going to fight for it, working together, hearts, hands, minds together, to ensure that one man doesn't decide for the rest of the entire country what the future of free and fair elections in the country will be.
That is something else, we Dominicans. That is something else, we. Well, you know, that's what Dominicans want. So I guess if Dominicans will take a stand, well, I hope all you can go. I hope so, because you will finally understand, and then it'll be too late. Kind of like the document the government signed that signed Dominicans into a 20-year agreement that it cannot come out of. 20-year agreement that it can never come out of. Warned, brothers and sisters. Dominica was warned about it. The Caribbean was warned about it. A number of countries denied it. They didn't want to sign that at all. But Dominica went ahead and say, the Prime Minister come and say, oh, I don't think that there. When it is literally there, it's just disguised as pluralism. If I can see that, how the Prime Minister cannot see that? But he signed it though. The question is, what did the Prime Minister get as a result of signing this stuff? Now we have election going forward, brothers and sisters. They're planning to bypass the people yet again. And the people, boy. You would think after Ross University left, that was in 2018. We had 2 elections, brothers and sisters, after that. One in 2019 and one in 2022. The one in 2022 wasn't, but the one in 2019, brothers and sisters, meaning people still went out. In even 2022, people still went out to vote for these people, man. Guys, what are your thoughts, man? These are just my thoughts on the matter. What are your thoughts, man? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below. Of course, I give you Lenox thoughts as well on the matter. Some of you guys probably don't like to read. It's right there. It's on Dominica News Online, You can go on Dominica News Online and get it, guys. It have free documents. 3 of them. You can read them, brothers and sisters. And then, message Skerrit directly. Anyways, brothers and sisters, this is pretty much all about for this reaction vibrations today. What are your thoughts, man? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below, guys. Are you going to take action? Who is going to be doing the gathering and the thousands of Dominicans coming together and say, no, we cannot have that way? Because that's the only way it can stop, brothers and sisters. Is when the Dominican masses decide, you know what, guys, enough is enough. Skerrit is not so it happening. You have screwed us up too much. I've seen labor rights bawling and crying, man. Weeping bitterly. Somebody goes, Mr. Lex, give me a $5 now. I do have. All the money is all you was getting from them. All your money finished because the economy not doing well. The economy not doing well. You think the economy not doing well for some? All you think that? You think the economy not doing well for some people? Or it not doing well for all people, brothers and sisters? It's not doing it for all people, including you, and you're voting for the same person that killing the economy that you want to do better in. Or you going in Mao and crying to all the power rep and all the power telling you not all you God. You vote for him to do things for you, you're not doing nothing. You go and confront him. Hey, the youth not doing nothing. What are you doing? Absolutely nothing. It seems like they're telling their power reps. The government officials, the people at the top are telling them not to do nothing in the constituency. Why? Because if I were to ask you guys, what has your power rep done to elevate sustainable development in your constituency? Can anybody answer me that question? What? I look at Portsmouth. Absolutely nothing has been done. Colio, absolutely nothing. Senjo, that's how you was than you was before. Rosso, nothing. But they talk about Elas. I had those photos there where I should have posted them up. But I don't think that was relevant. Oh, I'll do it when I do in the reaction. There's a second video of the Rosso, the emptying of Rosso, brothers and sisters. I'll do a reaction on that. A number of persons were asking me, Mr. Lex, what time? It was on Wednesday around 4 and 5. There's 2 videos. I did the 5 p.m. one. There's one at 4 p.m. We'll do a reaction on that as well, brothers and sisters. So keep it locked on that vibration. This is your channel. If you want to get that vibrations, definitely tune in on this one. Definitely subscribe and turn on that post notification. Click the bell after you subscribe and then click all so you'll be notified when I drop my videos right there and then, brothers and sisters. It's about Mr. Lex once again, guys. It's an interesting time that we're living in. But hopefully, you can live just like the Laborites themselves want to live. Laborites trying to leave Dominica for betterment, and they're the ones voting for the country to stay. Oh God. They're voting for the country to stay in its terrible state so that they can hopefully leave. Hopefully when they leave, they can do better than the people that they voted for the country to keep down. Aye. But hey, what goes around comes around, brothers and sisters. What goes around comes around, and then you have the electoral reform, brothers and sisters. When that electoral reform takes place, I wonder if another electoral reform will take place. Is there a time frame for another electoral reform to take place? Or can government officials just come and put in electoral reform, another one changing the electoral reform, another one do electoral reform? Is that, how does that work? That's an interesting question right there. Anyways, brothers and sisters, about Mr. Lex once again. Let me know your thoughts in the comment box below, guys. I really want to hear what you guys have to say in that regard right there. But it's about Mr. Lex once again, guys. Be real. Be positive.